Welcome to Always Intense, where real ships face real fury. The sea is a place of beauty, but also of power, chaos, and danger. From massive cargo carriers running aground to naval experiments beneath the waves, these moments remind us how fragile even the strongest steel can be when nature strikes. Brace yourself, the storm begins now. A violent storm rages across the northern coast of Andros Island. The bulk carrier Good Faith loses control and runs aground in the Aegean Sea. Waves hammer the hull relentlessly, tearing steel apart like paper. Rescue teams battle fierce winds to save the crew. The sea once again proves it gives no second chances. In a controlled US naval experiment, a massive warship is deliberately sunk. It plunges vertically into the deep, shifting from horizontal to upright as it disappears beneath the waves, a chilling yet mesmerizing sight. This test of engineering becomes a haunting reminder of the power hidden below the ocean's surface. Built by the Olstein Group. 7. Viking was engineered to survive the world's harshest seas, with the power to perform complex subsea operations. It braves towering waves off the coast of Norway. The ship's stability and strength prove why it's trusted in missions where failure isn't an option.
Survey and light construction in some of the harshest environments. The versatility of the vessel allows for RFO
The West Navigator meets the fury of Hurricane Barrett. Waves tower over the bridge. Every slam against the hull feels like a hammer strike. But the crew holds course, pushing through chaos with nerves of steel. In Finland, the Italian Prismian Group unveils its new 171-metre marvel, the Mona Lisa, equipped with massive carousels capable of carrying 10,000 tons of undersea cables. It sails to lay networks across oceans at depths of 3,000 metres. Technology meets the deep where precision is survival. passenger cruiser Voyager is caught in the deadly Hurricane Valentine in the Mediterranean. Passengers cling to railings as waves crash over decks. The ship battles to stay upright and against all odds. It survives the storm's rage. Island Victory, one of the strongest offshore vessels ever built, sets new records with 477 tons of pulling power, while others need 2 ships for anchor work. This one does it alone, in the world's harshest seas. It proves what true engineering strength looks like. When the cruise ship Carnival Vista needed repairs, engineers turned to the semi-submersible giant Boca Vanguard in a daring operation. The entire cruise ship is loaded onto the Vanguard, creating a surreal image of ship on ship in open water. The MS Expedition crosses from Antarctica to South America through Force 12 wins the highest level on the Beaufort scale. Inside, furniture slides, waves tower, and chaos reigns. But the spirit of exploration endures proof that adventure and danger often sail together. March 16, 2011. The MS Oliva, a 225-metre bulk carrier, runs aground on remote Nightingale Island, a critical bird sanctuary near South Africa. Oil spills into the sea, endangering thousands of seabirds. Rescue teams arrive too late to stop the spill. The cost of one mistake echoes through nature. The engines of the Fedra fail near Europa Point Lighthouse, pushed against the cliffs by violent waves. The ship breaks apart. Spanish Coast Guard helicopters lift crew members to safety, a dramatic race against the sea. In the Sargasso Sea, an oil tanker faces Hurricane Sandy head-on. Winds reach 180 km/h, waves crash 30 feet high. Inside the bridge, voices tremble, but the crew refuses to surrender. Moments like these define the thin line between survival and disaster. The TS Taipei suffers engine failure off the coast of Taiwan. It runs aground, breaks in two, and sinks. Salvage teams from Smith deploy massive floating cranes to remove the wreck, a complex rescue in treacherous waters. The Anthem of the Seas cruise ship is battered by hurricane-force winds in the Atlantic. Furniture flies, passengers scream, and 30-foot waves strike the bow. Despite it all, the captain holds steady, turning chaos into survival. A new kind of vessel, the ice-resistant self-propelled platform North Pole. It's built to drift with Arctic ice, a floating research station that can freeze itself into position and continue operating in extreme cold. Science meets survival at the edge of the world. In the icy waters near Cape Navarin, the fishing trawler Captain Bolsovsky strikes solid ice. Cracks rip through the hull as freezing waves pour in. 90 crew members are rescued, a miracle amid destruction. Cameras roll as massive glaciers in Alaska and Argentina crumble into the sea. Walls of ice crash down, triggering waves that rock nearby boats. The spectacle is breathtaking, but it's also a reminder of our warming planet and its fragile balance. A colossal piece of glacier breaks away after 30 years of stillness. The roar echoes for miles as ice meets sea. Passengers watch in awe, witnessing nature's raw power unleashed before their eyes. From storms and shipwrecks to technology and endurance, each story has shown us one truth: the sea commands respect. Every sailor, every ship, every mission depends on preparation, courage, and care for the ocean itself. Let these stories remind us to protect our waters, preserve marine life, and ensure safer voyages for generations to come. This is Always Intense, where every wave tells a story. Welcome to Always Intense, where real footage meets the fury of the sea, waves that reach the sky, ships that defy nature, and humans who stand against chaos. Every clip you'll see was captured in moments of pure survival, where courage meets the deep. Let's set sail into 20 real moments, where the ocean proved why it's never to be underestimated. A cargo ship runs out of fuel in the middle of the Indian Ocean. 3 tow lines pull it through raging waves as crews fight exhaustion. Each swell slams against the hull, threatening to snap the ropes. After hours of struggle, the exhausted team finally guides the vessel toward the nearest port. A friendly sailing competition in Finland turns into a nightmare. Calm waters turn dark as a massive storm forms overhead. Winds rip through the sails, snapping the front mast clean in half. Yet, the wooden vessel pushes through, finishing the 40-hour race as the only survivor of its class. Over 4,000 passengers return from the Bahamas aboard the Norwegian breakaway. A violent winter storm strikes winds near 96 keen H, and waves pound non-stop for 3 days. Water leaks through ceilings. Carpets are soaked. Passengers panic in dark corridors. At Fredrikstad, the ship barely holds together until it finally reaches its home port. Sailing from the Falklands to Patagonia, MS Venden hits the deadly waters of Cape Horn. Waves tower up to 20 metres. Icebergs drift close, and wind chills reach 7 for the captain. This storm becomes the worst in his 27-year career. Objects shatter, decks break, but miraculously, no one is seriously hurt. Off the coast of Norway, Viking Sky loses engine power during a massive storm. The ship tilts violently as water floods lower decks and winds exceed 100 km/h. Passengers wear life vests, clinging to chairs while furniture slides across the floor. Helicopters rescue over 400 people through the night in one of the most dramatic maritime rescues ever. A container ship faces monstrous waves in the Atlantic. 10-meter walls of water crash over the bow, shaking the entire vessel. The crew grips handrails as alarms blare and instruments flicker, despite chaos below deck. The captain's composure keeps them alive through the storm. In another storm, a rogue wave strikes a freighter head-on. The impact shatters the bridge windows, flooding the control room in seconds. Mayday calls echo across the radio as rescue teams scramble to respond. Everyone is saved, but the ship is left broken and scarred. Dozens of small boats filled with tourists face sudden tropical chaos near an island in Thailand. Waves rise fast, slamming hulls and tossing passengers. Captains push through walls of water, searching desperately for calm. By sheer luck, every tourist makes it back unharmed. An Australian couple sailing from Vanuatu to Australia find themselves in a nightmare. A Category 5 cyclone forms overnight, turning the sea into a raging beast. Their small yacht is thrown around by roaring winds and endless rain. At dawn, they emerge shaken but alive, grateful to see land again. The famous Reynisfjara beach looks calm until a sneaker wave strikes. Tourists are caught off guard as the ocean surges up the sand, pulling debris and feet. Warning signs flutter in the wind, often ignored until it's too late. Here, nature proves again the sea doesn't forgive distraction. An expedition ship returning through the Drake Passage faces force 12 winds. Waves of 9 meters crash over the decks, shaking the vessel from bow to stern. Crew record the storm, describing it as terrifying yet mesmerizing. Their survival is a mix of skill and sheer determination. In the freezing North Atlantic, a chemical tanker meets monstrous winter seas. Waves over 20 meters slam its steel body, bending metal and shaking bolts loose. Winds roar above hurricane level, forcing the ship to tilt dangerously. But advanced engineering and human endurance save her from disaster. Inside one passenger ship, chaos erupts as ceilings leak and objects slide across rooms. Crew rush to calm passengers, wrapping wet towels over soaked floors. 3 days of fear test everyone's nerves, yet no major injuries occur. The sea may rage, but human spirit holds stronger. Another vessel, out of power, is dragged slowly through monstrous surf. Each pull by the towing ship risks breaking the ropes as waves roar. The exhausted sailors work hour after hour, drenched and freezing. Finally, the coastline appears safety after unrelenting struggle. No sailor forgets the name Cape Horn. There, wind and water unite to crush the unprepared. Even seasoned captains admit it's the one place where fear feels alive. Each crossing is a duel between man and nature always wins the respect. Five helicopters hover above Viking sky, their rotors slicing the rain. Rescuers lift passengers one by one. Battling wind gusts at 120 km/h. It's a race against time, against exhaustion, against chaos. Every soul saved marks another triumph of courage over catastrophe. When storms last for days, time blurs, crew sleep in shifts, engines rumble, and waves hammer endlessly. Every sunrise feels like victory. Every night a new test of endurance. That's life at sea, no pause button, no retreat. When the sea finally calms, silence feels foreign. The horizon glows orange. Decks are littered with debris. But spirits rise. Survivors embrace, grateful for another sunrise. The ocean gives no mercy, but it always gives meaning. Soft closing music. These storms remind us of one truth: the ocean commands respect. Every voyage demands preparation, teamwork, and care for the waters that sustain us. Protect our seas, honour the crews who face its fury, and never take calm waves for granted. From always intense, thank you for joining us, and remember, safety isn't a choice, it's survival. Welcome to Always Intense, where real ships face real fury. Today, we dive deep into moments where steel met the sea and nature showed no mercy. From giant cargo vessels to cruise liners battling the impossible. These are true encounters where survival was not guaranteed. Brace yourself. The storm begins now. Spanish cargo ship Luno crashes off the coast of Biscay, France. An engine failure during a violent storm left it helpless, drifting towards shore. Moments later, waves slammed it into a breakwater, splitting the ship in two, thanks to the French Coast Guard. All 12 sailors were rescued by helicopter. The Arvin, flying the Palau flag, anchored near the port of Bartin. When the storm intensified, the ship broke apart and sank within minutes. Distress calls echoed, "Help me, my vessel broken." Rescue teams rushed through massive waves, only some of the crew survived. An Icelandic air rescue team braved hurricane-force winds to reach the cargo ship Skálva, stranded amid freezing waters, hovering above 20-meter waves. The helicopter lifted crew members one by one. It was a fight not just against the sea, but against time itself. In the aftermath of a major Indian Ocean hurricane, cargo from several vessels floated for miles. Broken containers, twisted steel, and oil slicks told a silent story of how small even the largest ships become under nature's wrath. March 16, 2011. The bulk carrier MS Oliva runs aground on remote Nightingale Island, a vital bird sanctuary. Oil spills spread across the coastline, endangering thousands of seabirds. Sometimes, one ship's tragedy becomes nature's as well. A fire erupts aboard a cargo vessel at night. Flames engulf the deck, hundreds of cars are destroyed in minutes. The black smoke against the night sky becomes a terrifying beacon of disaster. The Stella banner runs aground off Brazil. A 25-metre gash rips through her hull. After all, safety measures fail. The crew abandons ship and she's deliberately sunk to prevent greater environmental damage. In Richards Bay, the bulk carrier smart grounds and breaks apart amid roaring surf. The Indian Ocean once again claims another victim. Every rescue attempt was a race against collapsing steel. The Fedra loses power near Europa Point. Despite help from 3 tugs, she's pinned against the cliffs. Winds tear through at hurricane speed. 4 crew members are lifted to safety as the ship begins to break apart below. The legendary Queen Elizabeth faces a Category 11 storm mid-Atlantic. Giant waves rise higher than her decks, yet she powers through with unwavering grace. Even luxury must bow before the sea's might. The cargo ship Western suffers engine failure in a violent storm. The rescue team struggles to approach through crashing seas. Every minute counts. Finally, they secure lines and tow the helpless ship to port. A massive 160-metre cargo ship nears the Cape of Good Hope. Winds hit 50 ms, rolling the ship 32 degrees. One mistake and the vessel would have vanished beneath the waves. A supply ship fights through an Arctic storm, ice and waves slamming across her bow. Visibility drops to 0, yet the crew presses on, delivering vital supplies to offshore platforms, proving courage can't freeze. Off the US coast, Anthem of the Seas meets Hurricane Hermine. Passengers record the chaos as 100 mph winds rock the 160,000-ton cruise liner. Despite fear and panic, the ship holds steady, a testament to modern engineering. April the 16th, 2014, tragedy strikes. The ferry MV Sewell sinks off the coast of Jindo, South Korea. Hundreds perish, many of them students. A haunting reminder that human error can be as deadly as the storm. caught in a North Sea storm. A Dutch cargo ship loses control and begins leaking oil. 12 crew members leap into freezing waters. Helicopters pluck them from the waves, every life saved. A small miracle in chaos. A large cargo ship runs aground near Malta, breaking apart and spilling oil across the coastline. Local fishermen and rescue crews unite to contain the damage. The sea gives, and when harmed, it takes back. In the infamous Drake Passage, ships battle 50-knot winds and 30-foot swells. Everything shakes, spins, and screams under the storm's power. Even veteran sailors admit this is the edge of the world. After every wave, there's silence. After every storm, lessons remain. From the Luno to the Sewell, the ocean has reminded us safety. Respect and preparation save lives. The sea is not our enemy, it's our greatest teacher. So wherever you sail, remember, respect the water, protect the ocean, and never underestimate the sea. This has been always intense. Stay safe and stay strong. Welcome to Always Intense, where steel meets the fury of the ocean. Out there, no moment is predictable. No voyage is truly safe. These are the real stories of ships that battle storms, fire and chaos, and the brave souls who face nature's wrath. The sea is calm now, but it never stays that way for long. The Japanese container ship APL Japan was caught in a violent Pacific storm. Winds tore across the deck, and, one by one, 916 cargo containers were swallowed by the ocean. By the time the vessel limped into Kobe, Japan, its steel hull carried the scars of nature's anger, marking the second biggest cargo loss in history. Pushed violently against coastal rocks by the relentless Sirocco wind. Half sunk, it leaned forward as waves broke over the bow. 117 passengers and 6 crew were rescued by local boats, but the memory of that sudden terror stayed forever. Near the Cape of Good Hope, a cargo ship fought 32-degree rolls in towering seas. Another, the Smart, was not so lucky, grounding hard in Richards Bay, where it split in two under the crushing surf. In minutes, the sea reclaimed it. Off Brazil's coast, the stellar banner ran aground. A 25-metre hole ripped open the hull. After days of evaluation, the decision came: sink her deliberately. To prevent an ecological disaster. Sometimes, mercy for the ocean means sacrifice. Bound for the Middle East, the South Korean ship Golden Ray capsized off Georgia, USA. 4,000 vehicles sank with her. The vessel rolled suddenly, trapping crew inside as rescuers cut through the steel hull for days. The ocean gave no warning, only silence before the tilt. At Europa Point, Gibraltar, the ship Fedra lost power and was slammed against the cliffs by hurricane winds. 3 tugs tried and failed. Spanish Coast Guard helicopters plucked 4 sailors from the wreck as waves shattered the hull. It was a fight between rock and sea, and the sea won. On a remote island near Tristan da Cunha, the MS Oliva ran aground, spilling oil into one of the world's most vital bird sanctuaries. Hundreds of seabirds coated in fuel struggled to fly. One ship's mistake became an ecological scar on a paradise few had ever seen. The chemical tanker Blue Star struck rocks off Spain's coast. With quick action, tugboats pulled her free before a rupture could release toxic cargo. The crew's calm coordination prevented another environmental crisis, a rare moment when skill triumphed over chaos. Drone footage captured the moment Stena Immaculate, loaded with jet fuel, was struck by another tanker. In seconds, 2 giants of steel locked together under dark clouds. Disaster loomed, but the crew contained the spill. It was the kind of miracle that happens only once. The cruise ship, Anthem of the Seas, met Hurricane Hermine head-on. Towering waves smashed against her bow as passengers clung to walls and prayed. Inside, chandeliers swung wildly, a floating city, fighting to survive a storm it could never escape. A Chinese Navy warship rammed its own Coast Guard vessel while pursuing a Philippine patrol boat. Metal ground against metal in contested waters. The incident shocked the world, a symbol of rising tensions beneath stormy skies. off Sri Lanka. The MV Express Pearl erupted in flames. Nitric acid and chemicals spilled into the sea as black smoke filled the horizon. For days, emergency crews battled the inferno, but the ocean turned toxic, its surface burning like oil. The aftermath was an environmental tragedy that haunts Asia's waters. In Egypt, a massive cargo ship lost steering and slammed into the Suez Canal wall. The crash stopped all movement through one of the world's busiest waterways. It was a moment that reminded the planet, one ship can hold up the global flow of trade. Between the Atlantic and Pacific, the Red Rose faced the Drake Strait's legendary rage, winds of 45 knots, waves 14 meters high. Every impact felt like a hammer against steel. Few places test a ship's soul like these waters. In deep waters off Brazil, the Polar Onyx, an offshore construction vessel, carried out a high-risk operation for Petrobras. Waves pounded its deck, but it stayed steady, a triumph of engineering, proof that human design can sometimes stare down the abyss. Near Antarctica, Aurora Borealis faced a force 9 gale. Winds screamed across the deck, 14-meter breakers rising ahead. Through ice, darkness, and chaos she pressed on toward the frozen continent. In those moments, silence wasn't peace, it was survival. From the USS Kitty Hawk, damaged in a storm, to the Tobruk, deliberately sunk to create a reef, every ship tells a story of danger, of duty, of the eternal pull between man and sea. Each wreck becomes part of the ocean's memory, buried, but not forgotten. Every storm ends, but the lessons remain. The ocean demands respect, not conquest. Each mistake, each tragedy, carries a warning: protect life, protect the waters that sustain us. Because out there, where steel meets the sea, survival depends on balance between power and humility. This is Always Intense, reminding us that the sea never forgets. Welcome back to Always Intense, where real storms meet real courage. Today, we dive into 20 real disasters at sea, moments where steel, sea, and human will collide. Each wave tells a story, and every survivor has faced the ocean's fury. Off the coast of Normandy, the tugboat Liberty rushes through rough waves to save the massive Federal Miramichi. Engines roar, ropes tighten one wrong move, and both ships are gone. Thanks to quick thinking and grit, the crew pulls off a rescue against all odds. In Richards Bay, South Africa, the cargo ship Smart runs aground and snaps in two. The harbour turns chaotic as the ship breaks under the waves' pressure. Rescue teams save the crew, but the sea reminds everyone who's truly in command. The Luno, a Spanish cargo ship, loses engine power during a violent storm near Bayonne. France. Winds hurl it into a breakwater steel bends. Hull tears apart, miraculously. All 12 sailors are airlifted to safety by the French Coast Guard. Mayday. My vessel is broken. The Arvin, caught in freezing storms off the Turkish coast, sinks within minutes. Search and rescue teams fight waves to save lives, a desperate race against time and nature. Off Portugal, a chemical tanker slams into 10-metre waves. Each wall of water threatens to overturn the ship, but the crew's discipline and calm navigation steer it through proof that training saves lives. anchored near Sri Lanka. The MV Express Pearl erupts in flames. Containers carrying 25 tons of nitric acid explode, spilling chemicals into the ocean. Firefighters battle with toxic smoke across a wounded sea and a burning skyline. A tropical cyclone strikes Reunion Island. An oil vessel is pushed ashore, its hull crushed by waves. Fuel leaks threaten the coast, but emergency crews act fast to prevent an environmental catastrophe. In the frozen waters off Chukotka, ice slams into the hull of the Captain Bolsovsky trawler. Cracks spread water floods in. 90 men face death, yet every one of them is rescued. Courage beats the cold. A 12-point storm batters a cargo ship off northern China. Waves tower like cliffs steel bends. Radar flickers. The ship vanishes behind spray. Yet the captain holds course. Survival in seconds of control. In the Sargasso Sea, a 12-point Beaufort storm tears through an oil tanker. Decks flood, engines scream, but she refuses to break. When dawn comes, the crew witnesses the ocean's mercy calm after pure destruction. Taiwan. The TS Taipei runs aground after an engine failure, breaking in half. It sinks slowly, a nightmare for the coast. Weeks later, salvage teams lift the wreck piece by piece, a triumph of engineering over ruin. The anthem of the seas, a cruise ship sails straight into Hurricane Hermine. Passengers scream as 30-foot waves slam the hull, despite panic and damage. The vessel endures a floating city that fought a storm and won. The mighty USS Kitty Hawk battles a Pacific tempest near Japan. Waves crush the bow, tearing away safety nets. Even legends of steel must bow to nature. The carrier later retires, her scars telling her tale. Once a proud Navy ship, HMAS Tobruk is scuttled off Queensland. She sinks gracefully, not in defeat, but transformation. Now she rests beneath the sea, reborn as a home for coral and divers. The cargo ship erupts in flames under moonlight. Cars, containers, and decks ignite like paper. By dawn, the ship is gone, a haunting reminder of how fast peace turns to chaos at sea. A NH-90 helicopter hovers above a rocking vessel in a real 10-point storm. Rescuers lower themselves through wind and spray training in the same hell they may one day face. Their courage defines the thin line between life and loss. Between the Atlantic and Pacific, the Drake Strait swallows ships whole. The freighter Red Rose faces waves like moving mountains. Every crash echoes one truth: the sea always wins. Off Norway, a Dutch cargo ship loses control in a hurricane. Oil leaks. Waves rage, crew leap into the black ocean as helicopters hover. Each man lifted to safety is a miracle pulled from death's grip. From tugboats to tankers, from storms to flames, every story you've seen is real. Each wave carries a warning: the ocean forgives no mistake. Respect the sea, protect it, because our survival and our future depend on keeping it alive. This is always intense, reminding you: stay safe, stay humble, stay ready for the next wave.